to pray. There's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Gabriel Show here. Now then, when I last left off, the sports festival has just ended, and we will cut to the ceremony. Sebastian is actually watching, he's really intrigued by what's going on, but he does notice one thing. That young boy, Deku, somewhat tolerates. He believes he's heard about him at least. Not his proper crowd, but he remembers Deku talking about him once. That boy, he got a phone call, and he actually walked into the corridors, and Sebastian, being somewhat of a detective, decided it would be a good idea to follow him and see what was going on. He actually would listen in as he would hear the news about Ingenium being bedridden and basically having to retire from his injuries. They wouldn't say he had to retire, but he would just assume because exactly what they would specify with the damage to his spine. Sebastian wouldn't be able to put two and two together, but this is whenever Ida would immediately go to run to the station, and Sebastian would just show himself as telling Ida that, revenge is never a good idea. I'm sorry? You should know, revenge is never a good idea. Why are you telling me this? Because I do believe that my son is in your class. Your son? Oh, as he would look to the gloves, saying, so you're Deku's dad? Yes, I am. I'm also a butler. I've been around for quite a long time. Okay. So, anyways, did you hear my conversation? Yes, I'm sorry about that. I do have increased hearing. Okay, what part of your guys' quirk isn't superhuman? Very few things. But I can tell you one thing. The hero killer that attacked your brother, law enforcement and heroes will capture him. I assure you that. If you go after him yourself, you will surely die. Or be very, very injured. Or you might just take your brother's place. Okay. I'll take your advice. As Ida runs off. He won't. Now then. Afterwards, back onto the award ceremony. All Might would basically congratulate Deku, saying that he seems to be a brilliant tactician, but he also does basically think things through, along with the fact that he does have a lot of power behind him. He would then walk over to Momo, congratulating her and actually telling her that it's kind of weird how she unlocked a new quirk. As he shakes her hand, Momo feels something in it, and she immediately goes to grab it as she brings her hand back down. Now then, Todoroki or... not Todoroki. Either Ibarra or Bakugo would actually get third. This is confusing now. Anyway. It doesn't really matter who gets third, but I'm still trying to figure that out. Now then. After that, as soon as Momo was able to leave and actually figure out what All Might put in her hand, she would basically find the note telling her that whatever she unlocked or has now, it might be related to one of the successors of One for All. Momo's not sure how to feel about this, thinking that if that's true, then what does that basically mean for her? Now, after that, Momo is basically looking more into this, and she's trying to find a hero with Black Web, along with Intelli's help. They are doing this basically in between classes one day, and she would basically find that there was an old hero who had this quirk. He was a bald man, and this is how he used it. Momo's in shock as she sees how much versatility he has with it, essentially in how he uses it. Now, they would be brought back into classes, and they basically have to choose their internships. Deku does notice Ida and the way he's acting, along with the fact that Ida did mention that he saw his father. So, Deku would have to ask his dad about that later. Ida would basically pick the same internship he does in canon, along with the fact that Deku, he wouldn't really care about it, but he would just notice he was acting differently. He would ask Intelli and Momo which one they plan on picking, and I want to say Intelli would pick the support, probably a support course, or support internship, because May basically told her that she picked, had 3 on board she was picking, and if she ends up with the same one, then she would really like to go over designs. Now, I want to say that they would end up picking the same one because there's probably a company that would offer one. That's basically like a huge leap in tech bounds. Along with the fact that with gear, you basically come 4th or 5th in the sports festival against people with very strong and OP quirks. That's got to be pretty impressive to people. Now then, Deku would basically go to this internship with her, as we will cut to Deku basically calling his dad. He would ask about what happened with this and that, and he would basically just say that that boy, his brother, got injured by the hero killer, and in fact he does plan on doing something stupid. Deku would immediately realize that that's correct, but now then, they may have messed up with choosing different courses. He knows that they're going to go to this city, and in fact Endeavor will be there. But with what he's heard from the hero killer, he just asked his dad one favor. Do you think you can watch over Ida for me? Or at least make sure he doesn't die or do anything stupid? Well, actually, I will be very busy, but I do know someone who will not be. Sebastian immediately just looks out the window and opens it, as he immediately looks downward, saying, Grail, do you think you can do me a favor? Oh, anything for you, Bassie. I need you to go to Hosu City and watch over this boy. Why should I do that when I can stay here? Grail, this is very important. This boy is one of the boys in Class 1A. He's also an acquaintance of my son. Why does this matter to me? Because, as Sebastian looks very serious, he would just say, this is a very important task I am charging you with. It is not important as in this is very, very life-threatening, but it is important to my son. So it is important to me. Grail doesn't understand this, which makes him even more confused. Sebastian then just takes off his glove and brings his hand up to Grail, patting him on the head and just asking him if he can take care of it. Grail basically fangirls as he just brings his hand up saying that he can trust him with it, as he immediately just runs off. I am not looking forward to having to do these interactions all the time, because I know exactly how they all can go, along with the fact that I have to voice them. Now then, I'm just going to go over the hero killer incident first, so it makes it easier. Basically, in Hosu City, this is whenever Grail is basically watching over it and trying to figure out where it is. He actually looks on a schedule, saying that if this is basically all they have for him, then it should be fine. But that boy is supposed to die at this time, so... Well, he's not on my list, so he's got to be on some other list. Well then. As Grail immediately just watches Ida get attacked and actually subdued by the hero killer, The hero killer is about to plunge his blade into Ida, but right before he does so, Grill basically comes in, blocking the sword with his chainsaw, saying, my, well, this is quite the predicament. Stain? Stain immediately just jumps backwards and is confused. I've never seen you before. Who are you? Are you a hero? Oh, no, no, no. Why would I consider myself a hero? I consider myself to be the fabulous Madame Red. Madam. Madame Red. Yes, did you not hear me? No, I did, but you kind of just. You know what? I'm not even going to question it, as Stain just begins throwing knives. He immediately just starts blocking with his chainsaw as he starts revving it up and immediately goes in to fight Stain. As he comes in, he would basically break through Stain's actual blade while Stain jumps backwards. He would have actually slashed at his actual face, getting a little bit of blood, but as soon as he licks it, he finds that his quirk does not have any effect on the Reaper. I want to say that since Grail isn't human, a quirk won't work on him, since it relies on human physiology, even though he does have blood. Basically, Stain is confused as to why this is happening, along with the fact that his blood tastes sour and bitter. Grail would just say that his little quirk or his little trick won't work on him because he is quite simply just too fabulous for that. If not, he does not deserve it. As Grail immediately just takes out the hero killer, and he would walk over, basically trying to get Ida on his feet. Ida's confused as to who this is, asking if he's a hero and why did he just lie to him. I'm not no hero, kid. In fact, I'm a friend of Bassie's. Bassie? Who? Midoriya's dad. What the fuck is up with all of you fancy dressed people? And I'm not gonna, as Ida's confused as to what to even say. No. The entire bit was Stain and proclaiming that only All Might can kill him would not happen. Back over into a different city, or in the same city, I'm not sure where this company would be at. Let's say that this company, it's somewhat in the same city, but it's basically made leaps and bounds in Hero Gear. Intelli is actually taking a lot of tea as she's basically working around with it and figuring out more things and gadgets to build. She would have actually made her support item that she has on Canon, except a little bit more advanced. This support item, basically you put it around your eye, and you can basically map out different ways things are going to happen in real time. Now then, along with that, she would have also probably made more of these pistons that she can actually use for her arms, if not for her legs, along with actually having somewhat of a better idea on how to use her new gauntlet. She was able to create these, and she actually manage to make them smaller so they're about half the size. Instead of covering her entire forearm, she only has them covering her wrist and half of it. Along with the fact that she was able to make these essentially these very weighted running pistons that she has on her legs and always essentially uses. She was able to actually get those dialed back to around half the size, if not a third of the size, basically helping them fit under her hero costume a little bit easier. Now then, along with that, I want to say that she actually would talk with May and go over different designs and actually talk with her. Along with Deku actually just basically standing there and fighting and actually moving around quite a lot of heavy equipment. Anytime they needed something moved, Deku would immediately just move it. Momo, she would basically be combat training with Deku along with actually learning about different materials and different items this place has produced. Basically allowing her to not only use more of her physical power, but she would somewhat see what Intelli is doing with this whole pushing yourself beyond that 70% of your human body. She's actually very surprised by this, but she also does want to get a better hold on full cowling and black whip. So she would just spar with Deku, along with help him move some of these things. Now, that is all I can really think about for this, so I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and that is how I changed the Hero Killer attack. Along with the fact that I gave Grail some shine in this series, because I just limited him to a background character up until this point. I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day.